Welcome to Chocolate Hazelnut Podcast. I'm Chocolate.
I'm Hazelnut.
And welcome to our show.
Hazelnut and chocolate. He gonna fall off this chair, y'all. And I'm just know that.
I was getting my hazelnut on.
Your hazelnut, you and your chocolate on. Anywho.
Alright, let's start off. Alright.
Hey guys, today we got another good one for you.
And let's jump straight into it.
So this post was found on Reddit. Husband pays for him and his friend to sit in first class, but paid for his wife to sit in economy. Y'all gotta listen to this story though. So the wife wrote, "My husband and I haven't been on a trip out of country for years, while he goes every year with his best friend. His reasons for going with him is because they both go to attend sporting events. This year, my husband told me I could go with him and his friend since they were visiting a new destination. He paid for my ticket and everything else since I'm a stay-at-home mom and have no job. The kids were left with my mom. However, when I found out that he had booked first class for himself and his friend while I got economy, I just couldn't hold my tongue. I confronted him about it and he at first refused to discuss. Then when the argument got heated, he yelled, 'I paid for your ticket. Isn't that enough?' Then kept on about how I should stop acting like I was royalty and that if I come to think about it, even economy is fine for me since I technically don't work anyway. I cried because of what he said, but decided to just not go altogether. Good job, sis. He changed his..."
So, before we go any further,
Okay.
I find it disrespectful that he didn't put his wife beside him.
Yep.
On the plane, economy, first class. That means nothing if you're your wife.
Literally, it feels like his best friend is more important to him than his wife.
Well, honestly, based off of just the snippet that we have, his best friend is more important. Sounds like they're using this trip to either get away with each other or to meet other people, or he's over the relationship with his wife and he just has not told her, or they've had that discussion, but they're holding on for the kids.
Maybe. Also, if I was her, like the fact of him throwing up like, well, you should be happy I paid for your ticket, isn't that enough? Because technically you don't work. I would not cry. I would be beyond heated and done. And I say that because like literally so many people talking about, well, you know, they want a woman to stay at home, cook, clean, take care of the kids. And that's exactly what he has. But at the same time, if you want that, that means you have to provide, because obviously she's not working a regular job if she's at home taking care of the house, which benefits you and your children that you have together. So literally you are throwing up the fact of her not working as an excuse for you to put your friend first. But in all honesty, if that's the case of what you're doing now, how many times on the smaller things, because she said they haven't been anywhere together in years, however, he finds the time and means to go every year with his friend. Like, how many times has he thrown up, well, you don't have to worry about it because I'm like, you're not paying, it's my money, this, that, and the third. Like, how many times has that come up in the past?
Every day. That's every
You know
day
what
thing.
I mean? Like, literally. So you're holding the fact that you're making money for the household as a means to say you can do what you want and she just has to deal with it.
Well, I'm not going to defend him because I find his actions deplorable, because that's your best friend, that's your wife. You chose to marry your wife and not your best friend. Therefore, you should treat her. She should be number one in your life above your mother, your father, sister, brother, cousin, and your kids. She comes first just like you should come first in her life. There's no ifs, and buts, or maybe about it. I don't care if you've known your friend for your whole life. Y'all were born on the same day, 1 second apart, and that's how y'all met. I don't care. That's your wife. You treat her with respect. And if you have children, God forbid you have daughters, and you letting them see this behavior as acceptable, because now you're telling them, oh, any man that come in my life, if he's providing everything that I need financially, he can treat me like garbage. He can disrespect me. He can, think about all the things they've seen. Mm-hmm. He's probably got girlfriends, mistresses, children throughout the area, but he's teaching his children it's okay to do that. And
the
worse,
boys
he's treating
too.
The boys, saying, hey, you can disrespect your woman as long as you pay for it.
The bigger issue I have here is that he's saying that she's acting like royalty for complaining that not the fact that he bought the ticket, but the fact that he bought him and his best friend first class tickets. So it's not even the fact that you bought your best friend a ticket. You bought your best friend first class tickets with you. So literally you are paying for this trip for all three of you guys to go to. But yet you're not telling your best friend that he should be, thankful. Like if that was the case, you should tell your best friend, hey man, like I paid for your ticket, sit in economy. Me and my wife are going to sit up here in first class. Like, why isn't your best friend paying for his own ticket? That's my question.
His best friend is either his boyfriend or his girlfriend. Let's be honest. But let's get back into this and see what else they have to say.
Tone and started begging me to just go with what he planned, but I declined. I don't blame her. I went to pick up the kids from my mom's house, and he came back 3 hours later, huffing and puffing about what happened. His friend sent me a text calling me entitled and said that this was the reason why he didn't want my husband to take me with them, and I just proved his point. I did not.
His friend crossed a boundary of no return. At that point, as a man, you get on the phone or in your friend's person, and you're like, hey, that's my wife. You don't speak to her like that. As a matter of fact, you cut him loose. You cancel his ticket. You take that loss because he's stepping into your marriage, talking to your wife with utter disrespect, and you are allowing it. That tells me you don't respect your wife and you value him. We already know you value him over your wife, but the fact that you allow him to speak to your wife this way, you are not a man.
Hold on. This was more important than that. The friend sent this text to the wife. But listen to the point. He said, this was the reason why he didn't want my husband to take me with them, and I just proved his point. Meaning, again, that's why he's been talking to the husband this way all along. He's been telling the husband, I don't want your wife to come because she's entitled. She's this, she's that. He's been in your husband's ear this entire time talking trash about you, and your husband has been sitting there agreeing with him.
He's crossed the point of no return. It's not okay.
The friend would never even feel the way that he does, like to feel that it was okay to send this text message, had the husband not let him on in conversations with just the two of them that it was okay to do so.
Okay, and I was going to say, it's not okay for him to talk about the wife to the husband like that. Maybe the husband probably vent to him so he feels it okay. So he says, hey, what do you think about this? Mm-hmm. And so that's probably what led up to that. But for him to actually text the wife, call the wife, talk to the wife, and say this is utter disrespect. I'm not going to say it's okay for him to talk to the husband like that, but if the husband's asking him for advice, then he probably feel comfortable saying stuff like that to the husband. I still disagree with that method, but if that's his way, some people, that's how they do their therapy. That's why I'm not a fan of having family and friends into your problems in marriage or dating, because no matter what, at some point it's going to be thrown back in your face. And this is a perfect example, even though he's not stating a specific example other than this. You can't do that. You can't have family and friends in a relationship and expect it to be successful.
Fair enough.
Respond, but I blocked him since he's gotten increasingly rude over the past few months. He, my husband, said I keep crying about being excluded, and this is what happens when he finally decides to include me. Now, I'm trying not to speculate, but you and your friend have went out the country multiple times, but you ain't took me in years. You had the nerve to get 2 first class for y'all and excluded me by putting me in the back. And I'm supposed to be your wife. You try to embarrass me by telling me I should be grateful because I'm not working anyway, even though I'm taking care of your funky ass kids. And then your friend had the nerve to hit me up on some catty shit. It's giving beard. Cause what? Y'all leave y'all's thoughts in the comment section, please. Peace.
So what did you think about what she said at the end?
I mean, I think she's implying the same thing that we kind of feel, that it's weird that the fact that your friend is of higher importance and value than your wife.
I think it's disrespectful, and I think he needs to just go ahead and file for a divorce because he doesn't want to be married.
I mean, yeah.
That's just how I feel.
I feel like even her as a wife, like, if she feels like she
Or
doesn't have any
depending,
options, she should just probably take time to go ahead and get herself together, do whatever it is she needs to do so she can support herself and the kids possibly, and, you know, start making moves to like move away because he does not value their relationship. He doesn't value her as a wife. He literally, like, she's there as a trophy in a sense, like, oh yeah, I got a wife, and that's that.
she's not there as a trophy. She's there to take care of the kids. She's a homemaker. She's a maid. She's a nanny. That's what she is to him. She's a nobody to him. She's a nanny and a homemaker that he does not have to pay. So that's really what it is. And depending on what state they're in, it's probably why he's not getting a divorce, because certain states are automatic 50-50 on everything, all the assets purchased before and after the marriage.
I get that, and it sucks. It's cheaper to keep her, but at the
Nah,
same time, though, like, if you are going to treat your wife like crap, and literally, this kind of ties into this whole idea of why so many people, when you go on like social media, TikTok, YouTube, you know, Twitter and everything else, there's so many videos of women saying that they're fed up and tired. You have like viral videos like the older lady saying that marriage is the biggest scam for women, and all of this back and forth. It's scenarios just like this where you have the woman in a position of, like, you know, being the quote unquote traditional wife, which is what men say that they want, but yet women who have had the opportunity to be the traditional wife end up with guys who sit up there and basically resent them for being so, saying, you're lucky that I'm paying for this. You should be happy because, you know, I pay the bills. Like, that's not enough. And there is a clear disconnect between, you know, women saying that, yeah, you pay the bills, okay, and like, you're not here for me. What about us? What about the marriage? And the man is saying basically, screw that, like, you know, be lucky I'm paying the bills at all, and, you know, be lucky you don't have to work, but then throw it up in her face. Then you also have other women who are working and they're doing the same thing that the husbands are doing, but yet the husbands still come home and are telling her, well, you know, you should have food cooked, you should make sure the kids are taken care of, and this, that, and the third. And she's like, I need help. And there's nothing but pointing fingers back and forth. So which is it? Like, do you really want a traditional life or do you not? Either way, you need to figure out a way to make the marriage work for both of you. And that takes both mutual respect, mutual love, and equal input from both parties. And that's not happening no matter what your situation, traditional or non-traditional. Your relationship is basically doomed to fail. I know, I'm on my high horse. I'm getting off now. I've said my bit.
In this situation, it sounds pretty much as if the marriage is over if it hasn't been over for a while. In relationships like this, they're typically been over for years, and they're sticking in it for whatever reason. He hasn't left for whatever reason he's chosen. They really need to go through some type of marital counseling to see if it's even salvageable, however you say that. This could just be a rough patch in their relationship, and she's venting. I don't know, maybe this is his way of trying to get her to conform to something he wants, but instead of talking to her, he's taking it out by using financial, I'm going to say, I hate to say financial abuse, but in this case,
it's really
it really
like
is. This is financial abuse by withholding and neglecting her funds. Yes, he takes care of the households, but when it comes to her needs, he's not meeting her there. We don't know the background. To be more specific, we can only go by the snippet that we have.
I will say it's even more than just financial abuse, because he literally was like calling her out in a very subtle ways. When he was like, you're acting like royalty, then he turned around and said that, you know, she's being entitled and, you know, technically you don't work. Like, all of those little slights at her are chipping away at her self-esteem. It's chipping away at her mental health. It's chipping away at her constantly. And those are the little things over time. And even if it's been years, like, at some point she's going to hit her breaking point and hit a wall. So I agree that maybe counseling would be a good idea for them to try to see if this relationship is salvageable. And, because a lot of times when it comes to these traditional types of marriages, men are like in this situation feel like, well, the woman isn't really doing much because she's at home taking care of the kids, right? And it's like, well, I'm working, so she should just be happy or whatever. But then they start to resent her in a way because they don't want to have to work all the time. And so now it's like, well, I got to work to provide for this family. And, the relationship kind of becomes a negative experience for both because he's resenting her. Maybe she doesn't keep herself up as much as she did when they first started dating. Maybe she doesn't have as much time. He doesn't understand why she's as tired, and she's mad at him because now he's not coming home all the time, or he's spending extra money when she's like, hey, we need things at home, but you're buying 2 first class tickets every year to go on a trip with your friend. Like, who knows? So there's definitely a lot of friction there that needs to be resolved.
Yes, they need counseling, therapy, and if that doesn't work, divorce lawyers. All
right. Let us know what you think about it in the comments. Let us know, do you agree or disagree about the husband's actions? Was the wife being entitled or a brat? Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell, and check us out on all the podcast streaming platforms.